The as closely contested as the production vehicle category was. Gary Berthold and Brandon Harkus in the Nissan V6 powered Bat putting their stamp of authority on the race right from the start. And it was up to their rivals, husband and wife Gerard and Kirby Duplessis in the Porsche powered Liebherr Jimco, former special vehicle champion Mark Corbett and Jason Brever in the Audi V8 powered Century Property Developments Bat, and John Moore and Fred Werner in the Porsche powered Shell Connex Chenoweth to catch them if they could. Class B winners on the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500, Clint Gibson and Mike Brown, were 5th overall, and Class B leaders in the Nissan-powered Presidium Financial Services Bat. The KwaZulu-Natal pair had a good lead on their closest Class B rivals. Queenstown businessman Greg Harvey came out of retirement to compete in this event and had the editor of GQ magazine, Daniel Ford, alongside him in the Queen Motor Spares Jimco. Right behind them were Class S leaders Nick Gosler and Warren Bowie in the O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team Raceco, who in turn had Atang Makhakaneni and Mike Stangl, who had picked up a puncture, bearing down on them in the Total Sam Racing Jimco. A cheeky move from Terence Marsh and Trevor Ayer, who started 43rd in the Mitsubishi V6 Supercharged Nashua Mobile Racing Jimco, and were carving their way through the field. The team is using the 2003 season as a development exercise, with a view to winning the championship in 2004. Class S contenders Mohammed Noor and Mohammed Mulsin were second in the class in the Super Veg Raceco, while John Weir Smith and Jeff Minnett, who started an hour after the last car, were on a charge. Their run would come to a crashing end close to the midway point when they mistimed a jump and launched the O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Jimco 3 stories into the air. The high-flying Berthold and Harkus were in total command of the battle and were over 8 minutes ahead of Mark Corbett and Jason Brever in the Century Property Developments Bat. Such has been the impact of the Bat vehicles that orders are streaming in from overseas, with FIA World Group N Rally champion Gregoire de Mavius shortly taking delivery of 2 vehicles that will be campaigned in the FIA World Cup for cross-country rallies. Moore and Werner were 3rd overall in the Chenoweth, in which Franz Chepak Sr. and Jr. won this event in 2001. Reigning special vehicle champion Greg Harvey showed that he has lost none of the ability that earned him the championship crown and was, for the time being, comfortable with 4th overall in the Lexus V8-powered Queen Motor Spares Jimco. The Vormeland-based Duplessis couple had got the Liebherr Jimco tangled up in a fence, which damaged an oil pipe on the engine. The smoke trail spelled disaster, and their race would soon be run when the Porsche engine lost oil pressure. The rest of the Class B field had no answer for the Presidium Financial Services Bat of Clint Gibson and Mike Brown. The superior handling of the locally designed and constructed Bat gave them a definite edge over the opposition. Nissan Dealer 400 and Oven Fresh Biscuits 500 winners, Atang Makhakaneni and Mike Stangl, were struggling. The Total Sam Racing Jimco was down on power, and their race would soon come to an end. Class S leaders Gosler and Bowie, like the rest of the field, had to contend with dust and poor visibility. But the newcomers to the sport were undaunted and continued to open the gap between themselves and Noor and Mulsin. Marsh and Ayer were making steady progress in the Nashua Mobile Racing Jumco and would soon benefit from the Duplessis and Makhaganeni retirements. Noor and Mulson run a very professional setup and, barring any unforeseen problems, could be counted upon to deliver a good result. Predictably, Berthold and Harkus arrived first at the midway service point and had 9 minutes in hand over Corbett and Revere. Father Boda Berthold himself, a driver of note, directing proceedings in the Bat pit. Corbett and Revere were having gearbox problems on the Century Property Developments Bat. A quick driver change and some fuel was all that was required in the Bat racing pit, while there was much concern in the Corbett camp.
Where is it being out there? Automatic first, Mark. Turning it up now.
Harvey and Ford had moved up to third overall and were only 12 minutes behind the leaders. Gerhard and Kirby Duplessis ended their race at the end of a tow rope.
Lyk my baldraad gehak. Toe gooi klippe op en die agter is so 'n pypie. Gooi die klip die pypie af, dis al die olie uit. Val die olie druk. Gelukkig sien ek dit. Ja, dis wat gebeur. A dejected Total Sam Racing crew started packing for the journey home.
I'm obviously not mechanical-wise, but according to Mike, he thinks we dropped a valve or something happened to the rockets. So we had to save them a bit of money, stop, and minimize cost of repairs, so that next time we'll try again. What can we do? We'll be back.
Moore and Werner were now fourth in the Shell Connex Chenoweth, but the gearbox wasn't too happy. The O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team pit crew mobilized to get Gosselin Bowie out with minimum delay.
Hungry and tired.
Gibson and Morton waited patiently while their crew refueled the Class B leading Bat.
Ready?
Class B's way behind.
Berthold and Harkus earned a reputation for being rather gung-ho in their past off-road racing exploits. But the red haze, so common in motor racing, has given way to a newfound maturity. Mark Corbett and Jason Brevere's charge would come to an end when the automatic gearbox on the Century Property Developments Bat failed, which allowed Greg Harvey and Daniel Ford to grab second spot in the Queen Motor Spares Jumco. John Moore and Fred Werner's run ended when the gearbox on the Shell Connex Chenoweth cried enough. Gibson and Brown were in spectacular form and would soon be third overall in the Class B leading Presidium Financial Services Bat. But Class S leaders Gosselin Bowie had other plans. They had their eyes on third spot and proceeded to mount a challenge for third place. Mr. Consistency, Gil Nel, quietly went about gaining as many positions as possible in the Class B Look Africa Truggy and was happy to keep reigning Class B champions Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane in the Rollerbuck Racing JRE at bay. You're on board with Terence Marsh and Trevor Ayer, who had moved up to 6th overall and 3rd in Class A in the Nashua Mobile Racing Jumco. They were coming under pressure from Nissan Sugarbelt 400 winners and Special Vehicle Championship leaders Gerald Mandel and Billy Bond in the Prolong Bat. Mandel and Bond had had a problematic race with punctures and a fire on the gearbox cooler pump, almost putting paid to their race. The opposition had no answer for Gary Berthold and Brandon Harkus, who were clearly in a class of their own. They'd had a trouble-free run in the bat and quietly went about increasing their lead over second-placed Harvey and Ford. With no championship points at stake, Harvey and Ford were quite content to settle for second place in the Queen Motorspares Jumco, which is for sale. Gosselin and Bowie were in a league of their own as far as the Class S field was concerned. Both are off-road motorcyclists, which gives them an edge when it comes to reading the road. Clint Gibson comes from an off-road racing family, with father Gibbo a veteran of the scene. Marsh and Ayer had moved up to 5th place and 3rd in Class A, and were happy that their development program was starting to bear fruit. Gil Nel was 6th in the Look Africa Truggy, and as long as he finished ahead of Mandel, he was assured of regaining the Special Vehicle Drivers' Championship lead. Noor and Mulsin hail from Gaborone and were 7th overall and 2nd in Class S in the Super Veg Raceco. The Kopenhagen Hotel Medical and TV helicopter shadowed Mandel and Bond as they headed for the finish of the Queen Motorspares Tarka 400. Their earlier problems prevented them from mounting a charge on the leaders, and it was more a case of finishing and earning as many points as possible. Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane were 9th overall and 3rd in Class B in the John Rowe-built Rollerbuck Racing JRE. While Mark Corbett retired, Father Ernest and Warwick Goosen went on to finish 10th overall and 4th in Class B in the Century Property Developments BAT. Grant Watkins brought his home-built Gecko home 11th overall. Colin Herbst and Gil Loops's Toyota Space Frame would be quite at home in a Mad Max movie. They went on to finish 12th overall, while Johan Besaidnout and Daniel Groenewald survived the tough conditions and were the last-placed finishers in the special vehicle category. John Weir Smith and Jeff Minnett's race ended on a trailer. Jubilation for BAT Racing as Gary Berthold and Brandon Harkus crossed the line to record the 2nd win for BAT this season.
Well, I tell you what, I've been racing these vehicles for going on 2 years now, and this is really well deserved by BAT. I think Brandon Harkus has done an absolutely sterling job, not only of building the car, but we shared the drove this morning, and it was really a great day out there. This vehicle is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm glad that the South Africans have done it, and my hat's off to Brandon Harkus. Well done for the good hard work you've put in, and tremendous results.
Well done, coming.
Harvey and Ford finished 2nd in the Queen Motorspares Jumco.
We actually enjoyed it, but you know, normally we go for a consistent finish, but today if we broke, you know, it made no difference because we're not chasing the championship. It was really just for fun today.
A 2nd class win for the O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team, with Gosselin Bowie 3rd overall in the Raceco.
Tired, dusty, very rocky, very tight, but good racing. One of the better races that I've raced. But now all I want to do is get a cold beer and relax it. Thanks.
A 2nd consecutive Class B victory for Gibson and Morton in the Presidium Financial Services BAT.
first qualifying stages were fantastic. 11th. First lap on the main race, we didn't have any hassles. I couldn't say the same for the second lap, unfortunately. Had a puncture, 80 k's out. Straight after that, lost first, third and fourth, drove second gear all the way. And then the accelerator linkage, or the accelerator cable kept on jumping off, so he got out the car 4 times today. So yeah, I think we've got a good package there. He's Slorman Class B.